There's something about starting a new Formula 1 video game that is just so comforting. The fresh challenges ahead, the shed load of new additions, and the hope that this is the year that delivers a virtual driving nirvana. Yet also something really familiar. F1 22 is the 13th successive official game created by Codemasters' Birmingham outpost. For the most part, you know what to expect, a driving video game with all the real-world F1 stars, tracks and cars that's both authentic and accessible. Except this time it's not called F1 2022, but EA Sports F1 22, and there's an electronic dance music soundtrack, Oakley sunglasses and Ferrari road cars. With the development studio purchased by Redwood City-based publishing giant Electronic Arts last year for $1.2 billion, this is the season where the change of ownership has clearly taken hold. This predominantly takes the form of F1 Life, in essence a swanky living area where you can alter the look of your wallpaper and furniture before creating your own avatar with branded clothing, more of which can be purchased with in-game currency, either earned or purchased with real-world money. Oh joy. This forms the backdrop to the main menu, but also a lobby waiting area before an online race. You can also display a collection of supercars collected by completing driving landmarks. Very reminiscent of Hot Wheels Unleashed's Basements, except without an engaging use case. It's like your parents suddenly purchasing Yeezys and visiting a Harry Styles concert. Still the parents you know and love, but trying too hard to appeal to the TikTok generation. Yet the vehicles aren't just for decorative effect, as you can take them out on track across a series of 40 challenges. The aim is to replicate the F1 Pirelli Hot Laps, where invited dignitaries are treated to passenger laps during Grand Prix weekends. In action, the range of 8 Aston Martins, Mercedes AMGs, Ferraris and McLarens are stunningly detailed, including the interiors, and mercifully there is enjoyment to be found by taking them for a spin. The handling is benign, if the sound of the tyres scrubbing does come a little wearisome. Ultimately though, the inability to race these cars against AI opponents or online renders this a largely throwaway addition once the initial novelty has worn off. It all feels like an effort to appeal to a younger digitally native audience who enjoy that lifestyle portrayed by the F1 Instagram account. I appreciate this approach will almost certainly broaden the appeal of the title, but I can't help feel that it's the wrong priority following the removal of historic cars. Like, where's Formula 3? Where's W Series? Away from the attention-grabbing flim-flam, the long-term appeal of F1 22 rests solely with the portrayal of the baseline sport, which now includes the latest car specifications, the new Miami International Autodrome, and revised handling characteristics. And things don't get off to a good start. At the time of writing, the PC version of the game used for testing across 3 different mixes of hardware, I must state, is repeatedly crashing, slowing down, jittering, and is generally unstable. It stutters after a flashback. Sometimes the new feature of being able to position your car on the grid fails, and the force feedback on multiple wheel peripherals requires constant fine-tuning. I fully appreciate that I'm still yet to try the game on PS5 or the Xbox Series X, which is hopefully a more refined experience. While I do have confidence they'll fix these issues, it's frustrating because last year's F1 2021 in pre-release state didn't have any of these issues. While the new additions add an attention-grabbing sheen, don't forget what's not been updated too. The tracks have received fresh banners, curbs and asphalt colouring, while Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, Yas Marina and Albert Park are resplendent with their new layouts. But the rest of venue representations continue to lag behind contemporary simulation platforms with inaccurate corner angles and bumps. While the trackside visuals, post-race animations and slick presentation, Natalie Pinkham, Alex Jakes, Jacques Villeneuve and Jean-Eric Verne are now part of the voice roster, belie the game's aging internals. The track detail is a sign that the underpinning technology is getting on a bit. So far then, we've had some banging beats, fun but not essential road cars, optional branded clothing and instability. At this point, I was worried for the long-standing reputation of the F1 gaming franchise 12 years down the Swanee. In the hunt for redeeming qualities, I started a single race using the sprint format at Imola with Daniel Ricciardo. The event length was set to 50% and qualifying reduced down to just 1 flying lap, which I promptly messed up. Typical me. Clinging to my steering wheel with ever-tensing aggression, I was in the zone, working with my race engineer, now naturalistically voiced by former McLaren F1 mechanic Mark Priestley, checking off the laps, monitoring my strategy, and pulling off last-second overtakes. The result was 10th from the back of the grid at the start of the sprint. The computer-controlled rivals felt more naturalistic than ever, jostling for position in the early laps, strategically using their energy recovery system to attack and defend, plus sometimes clattering into each other. This was a vivid reminder of just how engrossing the F1 games can be. With focus pre-launch on shiny new features including implementation of virtual reality for PC drivers, which we've had some issues with in our testing, don't overlook what remains underneath, a brilliant driving game. The handling this year is more tail-happy. Managing oversteer upon exiting corners by short shifting is essential at times. Once you've acclimatized, the new approach makes for a far more rewarding driving experience, especially combined with how the cars climb over curbing with more flexibility. Pulling off a physics system that manages to be drivable both when using a gamepad thanks to some genre-leading assists and yet still deliver an extra level of feedback when a wheel is in use is no mean feat. Neither is the My Team managerial career where you take your fictional character and squad through a development curve and championship glory. There are only surface level tweaks to this for F122 when compared to predecessors, but it still remains the very best single player campaign in all of racing games. Similarly, there's a bevy of ranked or unranked online racing modes and cross-platform play, so those on PC, PlayStation, Xbox can race together for the first time, but that will appear in a post-launch update. The attempt to add a level of glitz and glamour to the game will further alienate a vocal crowd of simulation-focused purists. If, however, the supercars and cosmetic customization brings in a new audience, even they will too likely realise they're mostly just window dressing. Okay, but let's not forget, while this gaming series is definitely due a ground-up revamp, it still delivers one of the most complete and compelling packages in sim racing, if you want to call it sim racing. F122 continues that fine tradition, even if at times it's treading water. So that's our review of F122. Are you picking this up? Have you already, or are you going to hang fire now you've seen our review? Let us know in the comment section below. Stay tuned to the Traxion channel for even more F122 content coming your way, so please do hit that subscribe button and the bell to not miss out on any videos. Until I see you again, enjoy the British Grand Prix, keep it pinned, and I'll see you next time.